Welcome. In this session, I will tell you about why we shifted this geometry manager function .pack on label to next line. As you can see on buttons, we have added it on the same line. And in case of label, I added it to next line. We could have added it to same line, but that will cause some issues here. So when we have to add it on the next line, as you can see, I'm using the label widgets object here in this label variable. Why? Because I am using it for changing the attributes somewhere, but I'm not doing it in case of button because I do not require the object of button in this particular application. So there are times when you require the object of button, but for this application we didn't require that. So the only variable, the object which we required was of label. So when we are using the object here, as you can see, this label will return us the object in this variable. So we are doing the pack on next line. So we will see why. I will run this application to see currently what we are having here. As you can see, we are having 3 buttons and a label. So when red is clicked, background is changed to red, and green to green, and blue to blue. So what we will do here now, we will shift this back to the same line and we will see what happens. I have removed this here and I put that back on the same line. So let's run it again and see what happens here. As you can see, the application is working, but when I click on red, we got some errors here. It has changed the text here because that was related to the variable label text variable, but it has not changed the background color. What it says here, none type object has no attribute config. Why none type? We are getting label here from this widget, but the reason is it is saying that none type, this label is none. It has none value, so it cannot have this config function here on label. We cannot have this function. As you can see, we are calling this function here on label. We are using it. So it says this is of none type label. Why? Because this thing will return us the object. But when we are calling this pack function on top of it, it will make it none type. It will return null and it will make it none type. So it will override this. So when we do it on next line, then we are not assigning it to anything. As you can see, here we were assigning the value, but now we are not assigning anything. So I will just remove this from here, and now .pack will only place it in the window instead of assigning any null values there. So I will run it again and it will work as it was working before. So as you can see, now the colors are changing. So whenever we need to use the object anywhere, so we have to do the geometry management functions on next line. In the future sessions, we will also be working on grid geometry manager. So we have to take care of these things there. So that's all from this session.